Howdy, hi. This is Deer Job Sports college basketball picks and predictions for Monday, January 26th, 2026. We are looking at the best bets of the day. Let's get into the video. All right, another piss poor day from yours truly as I go 1-4, bringing our season record to 304 and 256. We had $8 to give away fund. That total is now at 42 schmackaroos. Nobody gets added to or taken off of the banned list. I guess maybe Wisconsin could be in consideration just because they had a 10-point lead with 10 minutes left and then ended up losing the game outright. But we'll give everyone a break because of the weather. Although FAU had no weather implements, but they still just sucked. So either way, 1-4. I'll recap this, and we'll get onto the slate we got for tomorrow. So our only winner, it was Washington minus 5.5. They win this game at home by 15. Oregon only scores 57 points on the day. They shot 36% from the field, 20% from deep. They lost the rebound battle by 22. Washington should have won this game by a million. Offensive rebounds, 18 for the Huskies, 1 for Oregon. Washington loses the turnover battle by 1. Washington honestly did not play that well either. 42% from the field, 62% from the free throw line, but they cover, so I cannot complain. Now we will get to the part where I will complain. This game was disgusting in the first half for the reason of the ball did not go in the hoop. Then it was disgusting in the second half because USF could not miss, and then FAU just couldn't keep up. The final score was Florida Atlantic 75, South Florida 89. Halftime score was FAU 36, USF 33. South Florida then scored 56 points in the second half. The pace of this game was absolutely electric. If we're looking at total shot attempts, Florida Atlantic had 66 plus 19 free throws, so we'll call that 75 shots. Then South Florida had 68 shot attempts plus 31 free throws. We'll call that 83 shot attempts for South Florida in a 40-minute basketball game. The final score is 89-75. That lands on 164, so we missed the over by 2 points, and FAU does not cover 6.5, despite having a 3-point halftime lead. FAU just couldn't shoot. They went 41% from the field, 32% from deep. They lost the offensive rebound battle. They tied the turnover battle, and they left 5 points out there on the free throw line. That was really it. I mean, they had one guy who was kind of keeping them in the game the entire time with Vanderpool, and then they had Carlisle who proceeded to go 6 of 17. So that was not fun. They lose, and we lose the over by 2 points. Then the next game, Mercyhurst. This game got delayed, I want to say 2 hours or maybe 1 hour. Not sure. But Mercyhurst wins. They improved in 10 and 11 on the year. They only win by 2 points, though. They were down 2 at halftime. Mercyhurst 61, Chicago State 59. Mercyhurst ties the rebound battle. They lose the turnover battle to Chicago State, who has one of the worst defenses in the entire country. Chicago State probably should have won this game outright. Mercyhurst shot at 40% from deep. Chicago State shot at 38% from the field. Chicago State just kind of had the better athletes. I just thought their defense was so bad, Mercyhurst would be able to score 70 plus. But that was not the case. Mercyhurst, not very good. And then our final loss was Wisconsin, who lost at home to Chad Baker Mazzara plus friends. I mentioned how basically Mazzara is their entire team. He scored 29 points, got 4 rebounds and 3 assists. Wisconsin loses this game 73-71. The Badgers shot 34% from the field, 24% from deep. They lose the turnover battle. They win the rebound battle by 1. It was really 2 dudes who screwed us. You had Rhodey, who went 2 of 10, and then Blackwell, who went 3 of 13. So they combined to go 5 of 23 from the field. And then you had Nick Boyd keeping us in it. He went 10 of 17. Wisconsin had a 10-point lead with roughly 9.5 minutes left. They then lose the game by 2. I don't think this win, they'd won 5 games in a row. So I don't think this is going to like keep them out of the tournament or anything because they have road wins at Michigan, at Minnesota, and then a home win to UCLA. Look, that's going to do a lot for your resume, but a home loss to USC is not good. Their next game is Wednesday at home to Minnesota. That is going to be massive. All right, that is the recap. Let's get on to the picks for tomorrow. All right, first game we got it is Abilene Christian on the road at Tarleton State. I'm going to rock Tarleton at home, laying 4.5 points. I think they're the significantly better team. However, both of these teams are not having a fun time in the WAC right now. Abilene Christian is 2-4 in WAC play. Tarleton State is 2-5. I did not think either of these teams wanted that outcome, considering they were supposed to be top dogs in this conference. But we'll see what happens here. Tarleton State, they're on a 4-game losing streak. I will back them. At home, Abilene Christian at 10-9 on the year. Like I said, 2-4 in the WAC. They're on a 3-game losing streak. They score 71 points a game, bottom 125 pace, 44% from the field. They're horrible at realistically everything. They're bottom 75 in rebounding, bottom 50 in turnovers a game, bottom 75 in entirely rated offense. The only thing that they're decent at is defense, where they're ranked 167th. But I'm not sure that's going to be enough, considering Tarleton State has a top 75 defense in the country. Tarleton, 11-9 on the year, 2-5 in the WAC, 4-game losing streak, 80 points a game, top 30 pace, 47% from the field. Neither team likes the 3-ball. They both average 5.5 a game. So I don't think this is going to be a very high-scoring battle. I just don't think Abilene Christian is going to be able to score at Tarleton State. This is not like a real rivalry, but these schools are only an hour and a half away from each other. I think it's like the I-20 or the I-30 or something. So it's not that far of a drive. I do not think any Abilene Christian fans will travel. Give me Tarleton State. All right, next game, you guys already know where I'm going. It is Duke in Louisville. I'm going to take the Blue Devils laying 7.5 points at home. Honestly, kind of surprised it's not higher. We just saw these teams play, I want to say, like 3 weeks ago. Duke won at Louisville by 11 points. Duke has probably one of the best front courts in the nation. You could argue maybe Michigan is up there. Arizona's up there with good front court depth. But it's real tough to beat what Duke has. Cameron Indoor is going to be rocking, even with the weather. They do not give a shit. They will show up. Louisville, 14-5 on the year. 2-3, though. However, on the road straight up this year, they lost to Stanford, they lost to Tennessee, and then they lost to Arkansas. So basically all the good teams they played on the road, a big fat L. They do have Michael Brown back at the guard spot. He is healthy again. I'm not sure how much that changes things, though, for the dichotomy of this game. Duke is just going to play bully ball with them down low. Louisville does have good stats. It's because their non-con was a joke. I mean, who'd they beat? Cincinnati at a neutral? It's like, oh, congrats. You beat the Bearcats, who are one of the bottom 2 teams in the Big 12. Really not that good on the win. So I'm going to fade them. Duke, 18-1 on the year. Their only loss was Texas Tech by 1 point. 86 points a game, middle of the pack pace, 50% from the field, best front court in the country. They rarely lose at home. They've already beaten Louisville this year, so they know what's coming. I think they win this by double digits. I will take Duke, laying 7.5. All right, next game we got, I'm going to lay it with Ohio State at home. I watched their entire previous game at Michigan. We backed them, plus the points at Michigan. It worked out. I actually think this team is really good. Penn State, on the other hand, probably one of the worst teams, not only in the Big Ten. They might be a bottom 20 program in the entire country. This team is horrible. Penn State, they have yet to win a Big Ten conference game. They are below 500 on the year. They've lost 6 in a row, suffering a 27-point home loss to Wisconsin in their previous game. They score just 76 points a game, bottom 100 pace, 46% from the field. Normally, Mike Rhodes at Penn State has a really strong defense. This year, it has to be the worst he's ever had. It is bottom 25 nationally in the entire country, while also being bottom 20 in rebounding. This team is ass. Ohio State, 13-6 on the year, 5-4 in the Big Ten. They've done a great job at protecting home court this year, 9-2 straight up. Veteran team, 82 points a game, bottom 100 pace in the country. I was very impressed with their defense against Michigan. I'd have to go back and check that score, but I'm pretty sure they held them to like high 70s, low 80s in terms of total points. I was thoroughly impressed with what they did. I think Ohio State is good. The crowd should be there on a Monday, even with the weather. Penn State's going to draw a decent amount of fans in. And yeah, they need this win. I think they get it done by a lot. Give me the Buckeyes. All right, next game, I'm taking Mo Williams in Jackson State, catching 5.5 points at Florida A&M. I think this might be my first time betting SWAC on SWAC this year. I don't know why Florida A&M is laying 5.5 points. If we're looking at rosters, I think Jackson State has the better roster. I don't know if they have the better coach with Mo Williams, but he's good. I like him, so I'll take him. Jackson State 5-14 on the year doesn't sound great, but then you have to look deeper and realize they are 4-2 in the SWAC. Their entire non-conference was just on the West Coast and some on the East Coast playing a bunch of Big 12 and other Power 4 schools because they got paid $1 bajillion to do so. So you got to look a little deeper than the stats because the stats are not good. They are coming off of a horrible, probably their worst game of the season. They lost to Bethune-Cookman by 37 points. So we get them in a very nice bounce-back spot. This is an old team. They start 4 upperclassmen. They normally put up 80-plus points in SWAC play. Kind of just depends on how they're hitting their shots. The previous game, they were not hitting anything. Florida A&M 8-9 on the year, 5-1 in the SWAC. That 8-9 record is much bolstered up because their non-con was not as hard. They only score 69 a game, played a top 100 pace, 44% from the field. They are horrible from the free throw line. It is bottom 5 in the country, and they're also awful on the rebounding front. They are coming off of back-to-back conference wins against Mississippi Valley State and Alcorn, where they did not score 70 points. If they do not touch 70 here, they lose this game outright. I will take Jackson State plus 5.5. All right, then you got my final game and the almost bets. This is definitely the game of the night. It is Arizona laying 2.5 points on the road at the Mormons. I'm going to take the Wildcats on the road, laying 2.5. I'll also take the over, 164.5. I think this is just two slightly different leveled teams. Arizona is an absolute freight train. The Mormons have been pushed and tested 2 times this year, losing to Texas Tech and UConn. So when they play elite competition, they have lost. Arizona has not done that. They're 20-0. I will take Arizona. So Arizona, their most recent win at home against West Virginia by 35 points, and they honestly stopped trying towards the end of that game. They score 90 points per contest, top 30 pace, 52% from the field. This is the second best rebounding team in the country. Defense is top 5. Every single position on the court is going to get to the hole, out-physical you, and just beat you on a man-to-man standpoint. They do not shoot a lot of threes. They make just 6 a game. That is not their style of ball. They want to get you into foul trouble, get you in the paint, and then just demoralize you as a human being. BYU, 17-2. Their losses, like I said, Texas Tech and UConn. This is still a really good team. You have arguably a top 3 pick in the draft with AJ. They score 86 a game, top 75 pace, 49% from the field. Their stats are really good. They are a tad bit 3-point dependent, though. And then normally with BYU programs, you get a soft team. That is just kind of how BYU operates. They don't really make these boys into men. It's a bunch of fruit juice and Capri Suns on the sidelines. Meanwhile, I don't even want to know what they're doing in Arizona. But I will take Arizona, laying 2.5, and the over. All right, and finally we got the almost bets. First one's Bethune-Cookman laying 12.5 at home to Alcorn. I mean, I'm just tempted because they beat Jackson State by $1 billion the previous game. So you would assume they could beat Alcorn by 13. Next one, Houston Christian at home catching 1.5. Incarnate Word has fallen off a cliff recently. I would not touch them with a 10-foot pole. I'm not betting it, though, because Houston Christian also not the best, but them a home dog to Incarnate Word, I think not. And then finally, this line absolutely reeks. It is Central Connecticut State only laying 2.5 points on the road at Stonehill. I think the Blue Devils are significantly better than Stonehill. I would lay the 2.5. And that's it. I will remind you, I am now sponsored by Pickett. I think this is only the second sponsor I've had in this channel in 2 years. So you know it's got to be decent. If you want to track all of my bets, you want to track all of your bets, 100% free. You can download the link in the description. You get a free $3 if you just link up one of your sports books. All right, that's going to do it for me in this video. I appreciate you guys watching and tuning in, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.